Something simple today, replacing a hard drive. There we go. Recently had a client come to me and say their computer's acting really strange. It's not booting up correctly, doing some different weird things. And I said, well, it probably needs 6 years old, been running for 6 years, might need a new hard drive. So we're going to put in an SSD drive. Should change the whole animal. They said, should we get a new computer? No, we'll just bring new life into it with an SSD. So here we go. Okay, here we've got the Lenovo system here that it's 6 years old. It's been running constantly for 6 years. They've never turned it off. And first thing we really need is this little USB drive that has Windows 10 loaded on it. Pretty easy to download the updater and load it onto that. Then we'll need some quick set of tools to open the back of this thing. Let's see. I haven't opened this thing yet, so we'll see what's in it. Undo a couple of screws. Pretty easy. I mean, this is kind of one of the basic upgrades you can do to a computer nowadays, especially some little bit older desktops that all the other hardware's working and you know, nothing's really going on except it's being a little bit slow. Okay, there's our cover. Now if we look in here, we can see that right here in this spot is our old hard drive. So it should be pretty easy to take just a couple of screws here and release it. Here we go. I mean, a lot of laptops and stuff will have SSD drives, but disconnect. This is the, oddly enough, that's the power cable, and this is the data cable. Some of them will have little metal clips on them that you have to undo because they're a little bit more secure. Okay. Next screw, I think this one's going to be full release. Yep, of the drive. Here we go. Now this is a Seagate 1 terabyte drive. I checked how much space they were using to begin with, and they were only using like not even 100 gig of the thing. So I said just go something cheap, it's fine. So they got a $49 250 gig SSD. So we'll pull this out now. We have an electronics store here called Fry's Electronics, and they seem to be not reordering any stock on any merchandise. So I had them go to Best Buy to get the drive because I think it's not going to be long before Fry's is completely done and out of business. So yeah, make sure our screws are good. We have to change screws in the thing. That's going to be one thing. The screws here in this little teeny tiny SSD drive, as opposed to the big 3.5-inch hard drive, are going to be a different size, different threading. So we're going to grab some of those. Okay, so the old drive was locked in by 4 screws, 2 here and 2 here. And I've got my new screws here that are the thinner thread, and I think what we're going to do is just put it right here. So we've got a screw that's right on the edge there and a screw that's in that hole. Typically a good 2 screws for an SSD, hooking it up inside this chassis is going to be fine. The old spinning drives, of course, need quite a bit of there's a lot of motion, right? There's a lot of movement inside there, and so it's gonna, can vibrate and stuff around places. So an SSD is not gonna have that. So let's go get this thing mounted, and we'll continue on. Okay, we got it into BIOS. Apparently F1 is the magic key for this Lenovo systems, despite some of them saying F2 and different things. So what we want to do is make sure that we have the hard drive in there correctly, devices, drive setup. Let's look at system summary, installed memory. Here we go, hard drive, Samsung SSD 860 EVO. Okay, so we'll exit and see if we can get it to boot from this USB drive. Let's look at our boot sequence, power, startup. Boot sequence is going to be EVO. Okay. So I guess we'll just see if it will boot from our USB drive. I saw a Windows logo flash. And there it's back. So we are booting into Windows to get the setup going. Okay. So that is good. So now we're going to install Windows onto this new hard drive. So next, you can do a couple of different things. Click install. It's going to be a little bit slow. I think this is probably maybe not even a USB. It's going to be a USB 2 device. So turn the autofocus off on that. Boom, there we go. Okay. So yes, we're going to accept our license. Next. Install, use all space. Next. And then that's all you need to do. That's going to get Windows going on the installation. So there's a few different ways you can try and do this. You can get some special moving program that's going to take and move everything off of this old hard drive onto your new hard drive. I really don't recommend that, because whatever garbage and cruft and everything that you've got installed on here that you're going to be then moving forward, right? So we don't want to do that. We just want the data off of this drive, and I have a video of using one of these little devices that allows you to connect the old drive. You just take this, simply plug it in here, and then this plugs into a USB port of the computer, and you're able to get in here and copy all of the files and folders off. We're going to be doing that, and I'll link to the video of how I do that below in the description of this video. So, but right now we're getting Windows installed and on this new drive, nice and fresh. I mean, I really like doing it that way. I don't like doing some copy mover, backup and restore thing, because this may have older drivers, this may have older configuration and older Windows. The new Windows we're installing here is actually October 2020 version of Windows 10. So it's going to be nice and fresh, everything completely new on the system. And we'll get back to that once it gets all up and running. All right, check in a minute. Okay, now we're just going to walk through the basic setup. We got to this screen. Yes, we're the United States. Yes, it's US, skipping the extra keyboard layout. We don't want to connect anything to the internet yet, because like I did in my demo video of the preview of October 2020, we just want to say we don't have internet. That will allow me to say, just create me a local account. So we're just going to do just a local account and create a local password. Okay, and like I said before in my other videos, when it asks you for security questions, do not put in the actual answers. Keep some bogus answers, put in some bogus answers, and write those down somewhere else, like LastPass or something else like that. Because if somebody gets that information or knows that information, that personal information that they're asking from you, then they will be able to get in and get your password. I mean, that's, so you don't want that. And we're going to skip Cortana, and then it's going to keep running and getting the setup continues. All right, so we'll jump back when this thing's ready. Okay, we've got this system all ready. We got Windows on here. This is, of course, the October 2020 version. So be nice and clean for my customer and everything else. They got a new hard drive. All I got to do is hook my cable up, copy all their data over. We'll be linking that video. And it's going to be nice and clean. I like that, nice and clean, and everything on the new system when they get it. So no junk, no applications and other things, trialware or anything like that, loaded like if you do a straight recovery off of a system from the manufacturer. All right, so there you go. If you got any questions about how to do this, if you need to do this on one of your home computers, it's pretty straightforward. Switch the drive out, get Windows onto a little USB drive. There's a lot of information about that. I can make a video on how to do that as well. Get things up and running. All right, thanks for watching this one. Take care.